Let me start by thanking the New York State Council of Churches for the important work that you do to support the development of the faith-based community to develop land. And Peter, your leadership is much appreciated, and we appreciate Rashida for all that she does. And thank you for inviting me here today. Affordable housing has been the focus of over 4 decades of my work, and I honestly wish I could say that in 4 decades we have solved the affordable housing problem, but instead today, sad to say that housing is at a crisis state. Over the years, there just hasn't been a significant enough investment in affordable housing, and the cost to build and maintain affordable housing has risen exponentially. While the City of New York has done a tremendous job in investing city resources in the development and preservation of affordable housing, along with the State of New York, the federal government has largely been absent from the development side. And so today, housing needs have reached crisis levels. Some may even describe the need for affordable housing, especially folks here in this room, as a spiritual and social justice issue, since affordable housing is a lifeline. It's a determinant of health, physically, emotionally, and mentally. As you heard in Peter's stats, 1 in 4 renters pays over half of their income in rent. There is no city, not a single one, in this country where a minimum wage working family of 4 can afford a 2-bedroom apartment. Homeownership is largely out of reach for most, and there's a growing number of families at risk of homelessness. Housing insecurity now affects families at various income levels, including seniors, and most probably, for many of you, your own congregants. This is a solvable problem if we mobilize political will and the significant resources necessary. Mobilize both to preserve the housing that is currently affordable, the subject of a conversation for another day, and for today's focus, build more affordable housing. This is where the faith community comes in. Faith-based groups have historically led social change. Throughout the civil rights movement through today, it's been the church that played a significant role in organizing and advocacy while also filling gaps in human services. Affordable housing is a natural extension of that leadership. So for the faith community with land, consider that housing could be grounded in your mission. Imagine affordable housing as a modern ministry. Providing safe, stable homes is one of the most direct ways to live out faith in action and serve the community. You've already have one of the most powerful assets, land. Churches and religious institutions are among the largest landholders in the United States, and much of this land is underutilized. This is a call to stewardship, not just real estate. Housing can be a faithful, values-aligned use of land that multiplies impact for generations. Important reminders about your land and your role. Your first steps are key to success. It's about connecting faith and wisdom to a complex development process. Asking the question, does this align with our mission and values? Inventory your land and buildings. What do you actually have to work with? Talking to others who've done it, learning from sister churches or temples about the work that they have done, their successes and their failures. Begin small, the very first step, a feasibility study, a listening session, a congregational vote, all are powerful first steps. Your land is valuable. Treat it like a major asset. It's often your strongest contribution to the project, and yet there are limits. Affordable housing can't cover the cost of every program idea that you have. You'll need to find other resources for your other program goals, but for housing, this land can be a real valuable asset. Know the market value and the development potential of your land. Get a zoning analysis, appraisal, feasibility study early on. Use your land to negotiate for mission alignment and long-term benefit. Consider ground leases or joint ventures that keep you involved throughout the life of the project. A lot more to be said about exactly how that should be done, but I'm a firm believer that you want to stay connected to make sure your mission of providing affordable housing is carried on through the life of the project. Maximize your stake in the project, but be realistic. The land matters, but there are many other development costs, and as I just stated, other program considerations will need different funding sources. Understand your limits. Pushing too hard to control without experience or unrealistic funding requests can delay or derail a project. But focus on a partnership where you have a role to play. Look for good co-developers who value your mission and who will offer transparency and inclusiveness, not just capital. Keeping a faith-based affordable housing project viable, fundable, and compliant during the pre-development, construction, and operational stages requires both strategic clarity and practical discipline. Think like a faith-based steward and act like a developer. Faith and practicality are not in conflict here. Your values are the anchor. But systems, strong, viable partnerships, a solid development plan and budget, and an understanding of the required detailed paperwork, and there's a whole lot of that, that's the sale. Models vary, and so you can consider what's possible, what makes sense for you. Models vary and can be very complex, so you can't do this alone. Consider various options, though. Lease your land, partner with a nonprofit developer or a co-developer that is could be for-profit, but with a mission alignment. Mission-focused designs are possible. You can include in your design community rooms, even worship spaces. There's some detail to be discussed about how that's done. Gardens or workforce housing. It doesn't have to look like a conventional apartment building. Mixed use and mixed income options are possible. For example, housing with commercial space, if the zoning permits commercial uses, can generate a continuous flow of income, something to think about. But remember, affordable housing won't cover the costs of all of the non-housing uses. You'll need to raise other funds for uses such as daycare, schools, or community programs. Layering funding sources it adds to the complexity, and it's really complicated to do it that way, but it has been done. I've worked on a number of deals where you ended up with not only the housing, but daycare, schools, and other uses like that. So it can be done, it's just more complex. There is available funding for housing, for the housing work itself. The city, in some places throughout the state, the county, state, banks, federal government, even though the amount of money from the federal government may be smaller, tax credits, foundation grants, but the partnerships are key and preparation is key in order to access these dollars. So essentially what I'm saying is I believe that the faith-based development of affordable housing can be aligned with the church's mission. Yet to be very clear, like most missions, it's not for the faint of heart. Clarity of purpose, of mission is required throughout the process. There may be some internal resistance when you look within the church, within your organizations. Educating your board and your congregation about the vision and the values behind the work is essential and a good place to start. It's key that there is complete and unwavering alignment within the church at all levels, from the pastor to the pews. The last thing the funder wants to do is to help you figure out how to negotiate among yourselves. You work that out. But from the pastor to the pews, no confusion, and also work it out with the hierarchy, with the bishops and every other part of the hierarchy of the religious institution. Unity and purpose and vision and actions. That's the team that you bring to the table to partner with a developer, to partner with the funders. Today's market realities makes development of housing more of a challenge. So you must be really prepared, even now more so than ever. The market is tight and more competitive than ever. Funders, lenders, tax credit agencies are applying stricter guidelines to select only the most viable, well-prepared projects. Affordable housing dollars are limited and the field is crowded. So strong partnerships, readiness, and mission clarity give you the edge. Expect more due diligence from the funders, the clear documentation, realistic budgets, experienced teams helps your application stand out. Rising costs affects everything. Labor shortages, material delays, tariffs, supply chain issues are all driving up construction costs and timeliness. Insurance costs are surging in many areas, especially in climate-exposed zones. Insurance can make or break a project budget. So you have to plan early and have a plan that is flexible with contingencies. Cost overruns and delays are common, so you have to build margins into your plan, not just into the financing. There are other challenges to consider. It takes time. So this strong relationship, the partnerships you form, have to last for a long while just to get started. Development of projects often takes 2 to 5 years or more. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You'll need to have trusted advisors, from legal support to development consultants. Assembling a solid team upfront saves time and stress later. So in closing, let me just say this. The most successful process for affordable housing development is having a keen vision, the necessary funding, and solid alignment of key players. You don't have to be an expert to get started. You just have to be open to fully learning the process. There is support, there is guidance, and while not unlimited, there's funding, and a growing community walking this path with you together. This isn't just about a building, it's a blessing. You can provide dignity, stability, and sanctuary every day of the week to families sorely in need of the security of decent and affordable housing. To the affordable housing community and to many families throughout the state and across this country, your land is like manna. Thank you for listening.